Alright, welcome guys to the first episode of how to make an RNG game on Roblox. Today we're gonna take a look at the rolling system. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is go to the top left, click on File and go to the beta features. I recommend you click this box once so everything is enabled, and of course enable the auto-enable upcoming features. And then we want to scroll down to, let's say, about the middle to find the next gen studio preview. We want to disable that because that just doesn't look good at all. So first we're gonna do that and click save. Probably you're gonna get a prompt to restart Roblox Studio, and I recommend you do that so you have every beta feature enabled. So next we're gonna start with the rolling system. First we're gonna head into the starter GUI, grab a screen GUI and rename this one. You can right click and rename this to anything you'd like. I recommend we keep this simple and just say rolling GUI. There we go. Next we're gonna add a frame which is gonna be the main frame. And within this we're gonna keep the anchor point at 0.5 and the position at 0.5 as well, so it stays in the middle the whole time. Next, the size can be just 1, so it fills the entire screen. And the background color doesn't matter because we're just gonna make this transparent. There we go. Now that we have a background, we can start with the roll button. I'd recommend we make another frame inside here and name this holder for the lower buttons which we're gonna use in the future. Those can have the anchor point firstly at 0.5 and the second one at 0. Next, the position can be 0.5, comma, let's say about 0.9. Let's start that. Perfect. Now we can say the size can be 1 at the horizontal and about 0.1 at the vertical. Nice. Now that we have that, we can make that invisible as well. Next up, we're gonna add a UI list layout inside here. And this one is gonna be fill direction set to horizontal. Then horizontal alignment on center, vertical alignment on center as well, and vertical flags could be, you know what, let's do space around. Let's try that. Or maybe even fill while we add it. Perfect. Now all we gotta do is add a, let's say a button. You know what, a text button. This is gonna be our roll button. We can name this roll button, or actually, let's keep it shortened, roll btn for the roll button. Actually, sorry, I'm gonna rename this back to the web. We're gonna rename this again to the roll button, my bad. Now let's get to the scaling again. The size can be about, let's do 0.45 and 0.85 for the vertical. That is way too big, so we're gonna shorten that up to, let's say, 0.25. Yeah, that looks way better. Now back in the UI list layout, I forgot to add a little padding to it, so we're gonna say 0.05. That is a good padding. Next, we could add a UI padding. Yeah, there we go. The padding top in the UI padding can be 0.05 again, and the padding bottom can be 0.05 again. Nice. Now you can see there's a tiny space at the bottom of the button. Now that we've set up the button, we can actually start customizing it. Things I like is to keep the text transparent all the time, just because it looks better. And then we can add a UI corner. This UI corner, we're gonna do a radius of, let's do 0.05 again. Now you can barely see the edges being rounded, so we're gonna put that up to like 0.1. There we go, looks way better. Inside the roll button I like to add a text label, which is gonna be our actual text on the button, sorry. The anchor point on this can be 0.5 again, as well as the position. Nice. The size, let's do about 0.85, sure. As you can see, it should be a little bit smaller than the actual button, just because that's gonna look way better. The background transparency, we can set that to 1, and let's scroll all the way down to our text settings. First, text scaled, and now I recommend you grab any good font face you like. I prefer, actually let's go for the Nunito, there we go. I like that font just because it looks all rounded up and whatnot. So the text can be roll, of course, because that's gonna be our roll button. And if you want, we could make this bold. There we go. It doesn't have to be bold, it's gonna be your opinion if it looks better or not. Then we're gonna rename this text label to a title. Nice. Now that we've set up the roll button, we can actually do one more thing, and that's gonna be auto button color off. There we go. If we go in game now, you can see that if we hover over the button, that's not gonna be a color change if we hover over it. And if we click, obviously nothing's gonna happen because we haven't actually coded that part. That's exactly where we're starting now. First things first, I like a local script inside the screen GUI. This guy we can call, let's do rolling handler. That's gonna be obvious for the future. So, first things, before we start, we're gonna go inside the replicated storage, make a folder and call this remotes. Nice. Next up, add another folder inside this one and name this, let's do rolling. Or yeah, actually let's keep rolling, sure. Inside this rolling folder we can add a bindable function. Actually, let's not start with that. We are gonna do that later, my bad. Put that aside and we're gonna start with the variables on the local script. First, let's do local replicated storage, which is gonna be game get service replicated storage. Now again, if I'm going too fast, that's my bad. You can comment anytime, leave a timestamp where you are currently, and of course join my Discord server if you have any problem. Next up, let's actually define our roll button. First, we're gonna start off with let's do the holder first, sure. The holder is gonna be a script.parent.mainframe.holder. Or just to be safe, we're gonna say wait for child holder, because that's gonna wait until the folder actually loaded in. Nice. Sorry, the frame, not the folder. Next up is gonna be the roll button. And this roll button is gonna be holder, wait for child, roll button. Now I know wait for child is not optimized, I would say, and find first child is a way better option, but we are keeping wait for child because that's just way better for the start. We can change that in the future, but we're gonna keep wait for child. So next up we're gonna do roll button activated. There we go. Connect that to a function. Sorry. There we go. Now that we have that, you're gonna maybe get a suggestion like I just did, but we are not actually gonna do that because we're gonna start with the rolling. With the rolling itself. Now, we haven't really made anything to showcase what we're rolling, so we're gonna do that now. Inside the main frame, add another frame, and we're gonna call this the rolling background. Why not? This guy can be 0.5 at the anchor point again, and 0.5 at the position. Now, next up, size is gonna be 1, background color on a black, and background transparency, of course, at a 0.85 for now. Z index, we're gonna set that to 2, just to be sure it's over the roll button. Nice. I'm gonna make the background music a bit quieter so you can understand me better. There we go. Now that we have the rolling background, we are gonna add 2 text labels in there. One is gonna be the role name. Sorry, actually, let's keep it at the title. Sure. This title can be anchor point 0.5, position, let's do 0.4, actually 0.45, comma, actually, sorry, my bad, 0.5, comma 0.45, there we go. So it's a little above the middle. The size, I'm gonna keep it a large on the horizontal, so about, let's do 9, comma 0.15. There we go. This guy is gonna be background transparency set to 1. Scroll down to the text, enable text scaled, go back into the font phase, and use the font that I've used on the roll button. There we go. This label, we can customize it however we want, but we don't actually need this right now. We can just say like test name or whatever to like showcase that we're testing this. Nice. For now, I'm gonna keep the text color on a white so we can see it better. And then we're gonna add inside this text label another text label, which is gonna be the rarity. There we go. The size is gonna be, let's do 1, 0.75. So it's a little shorter than the other one, as you can see. Actually, let's turn it down to a 6.5, just so it's way smaller. The position, or the anchor point, sorry, is gonna be 0.5, 0. The position itself gonna be 0.5, and let's do a solid 9.5. There we go. Background transparency set to 1. Font face gonna be Nunito as well, with text scaled enabled, and the font color is gonna be 1. Sorry, white, not 1, my bad. The text itself, we can name this 1 in just a dash for now, because this is gonna be in testing. And as you can see, this label right here is still way too big, so we're gonna shorten that up to about 0.35. And the position, we can also change this to a solid 0.85 right there. There we go. This looks way better now. And while we're at it, we could also set this title, make sure you've selected this one. We could also put this down to like 0.5, or actually I like 0.47 more. Yeah, that looks more centered. There we go. And just to keep everything in style, we're gonna lowercase everything, just because for the style I'm going for, it looks better. There we go. Right now we can say that the title is not gonna be visible as well. Actually, no, this guy can be visible, but the background transparency is gonna be set to 1, so it doesn't matter anyway. Nice. Now we can go back into the rolling handler and start with the actual scripting. So first, we're gonna define our rolling background, which is gonna be... Actually, before we do that, we're gonna quickly change this up a bit. Say local mainframe, it's gonna be script.parent wait for child mainframe. And then we can change this guy to only mainframe wait for child holder. Nice. Next up, we're gonna do local rolling BG, short for background, and that's gonna be our mainframe wait for child rolling background. Nice. Inside this rolling background we have the title and the rarity. You don't need to like index it with the variables, but we're gonna do that just because it's gonna be easier for us to access it. So first, local rolling title, it's gonna be rolling BG wait for child title, and the local rolling rarity, it's gonna be rolling rolling title wait for child rarity. There you go. Before we start with the actual like rolling function, we're gonna go into replicated storage, make a different folder, call this modules. Modules. Add a module script inside there. Name this guy. Let's do RL list. Sure. This RL list inside here, open this up and rename both of those module scripts, or sorry, module labels to, let's do RL list so it matches the title. There you go. Put it like this. Nice. Actually, my bad, we don't even need this. We can just say return those curly brackets and enter. So we're gonna return a table back to this function. Nice. Inside here, we're gonna put whatever auras we'd like. First, we're gonna put common, or actually let's do basic, to be a little bit different. The rarity, however we'd like, I'd say we do like, for a basic it's gonna be like 1 in 2, sure. And next up it's gonna be a color free .from RGB. This is gonna basically index what color it's gonna have in the title. We're gonna start off with a, let's do white. Let's do white, sure, for now. Then add a comma behind this curly bracket. Copy this and paste one over. We're gonna do common after the basic, sure. Common is gonna be 1 in 5, and this one's gonna be turned down a little, so it's a bit less brighter. Copy this again, and let's do uncommon next. Uncommon we can do like 1 in 7, just for now. And the color could be like a green, sure. Nice. Now that we have this list, like you can add whatever you like. Just remember it can't be above 2 billion, I would say. Let me Google this real quick. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna add a little comment, which is gonna be just a quick comment saying don't go over this number. That is the 32-bit limit which Roblox uses, and if we go above this number we cannot use that anymore. There is a way to bypass it to go way further than 2 billion, which would be a huge number, my bad. That is actually a 20-digit number, the biggest one, as you can see. But we are not gonna be using that because that takes a lot of work to to be done, and we are not gonna do that. We're gonna keep it simple. Nice. Now that we have our aura list, you can go back inside rolling handler, go below replicated storage, 2 lines, say local modules. It's gonna be inside replicated storage, wait for child, modules, and call local aura list. That is gonna be modules, actually, sorry, require modules, wait for child, aura list. Nice. For any module script you're using, you have to say require and whatnot. Don't ask me why. I am not like a pro at coding myself. I am still learning, but you have to use require for module scripts. So now if we say, just to test real quick, we're gonna print out aura list and index this one. Let's do like a 1. Aura list index 1. What this is gonna do, or what it should do, it's gonna print out the first one inside this table, and which would be another table called basic. And if we want to get the name, we would just do another index with 1. There we go. And in theory, it should print out basic right down here in the output. If you can't see the output, you're gonna go to view and click output right here. Nice. And if we click this roll button, as you can see, it's gonna print out basic. And if you want to change it, of course, get rid of this index and press play again. Down here you can see a table. If you open this up, it's gonna be basic, how rare, and the color. Nice. So now let's get started with the rolling. First we're gonna add another module, which is gonna be to, let's say, get rarity. Sure. Now I'm gonna link this module inside the comment because I actually haven't made it. It's from Willy, or Willy RBX. Shout out to him, of course. And I'm quickly gonna copy that over. There we go. Now that I've changed this a little bit, I've also renamed this module to SelectRarity. So what this essentially does is it loops through every single thing inside our chances, which is gonna be this. And sorry, before we do that, of course, it's gonna be chances inside there. And for every single thing inside there, it's gonna grab a random number between 1 and the rarity from each and every single one of those. And if it would land on 1, and if it's bigger than this first number, then we are gonna return this entire table. And if it doesn't get anything, then it just returns the first thing, so the basic or our common or whatever you put there. Nice. Let's go back and require this as well. Local select rarity. It's gonna be require modules, wait for child, select rarity. Nice. Now if we would say local hold number, actually let's do roll table. If that is, and that's gonna be select rarity, and inside here, sorry, get random index, yeah, dot get random index. Actually, sorry, my bad. We're gonna rename this to, sorry, so we're gonna rename this to get, sorry, my bad. We're gonna keep it at get random index. And inside here we're gonna put the aura list. There we go. And if we were to print out the rolled table, we can see that it's gonna be different every time. I've clicked the button 3 times and we're gonna see 3 tables. First one is common, second one is basic, and the third one is also basic. As you can see, that is completely random. Nice. Now that we've got this working, we're gonna start with the actual rolling. Sure. Let's do number of rolls, which is gonna be, in our case, let's do 7. Sure. And now we can say that our local roll table is gonna be an empty table. And now we're gonna do for I is equal to number of rolls, comma, I is gonna be 0, next is gonna be number of rolls and 1. Nice. If we do this, we're gonna do table dot insert roll table and the value which we're gonna insert into. And inside here we're gonna of course call the SelectRarity dot get random index with our list. And if we do this, we're gonna see if we print out the roll table, you're gonna get something like this. A table with 8 tables inside there. We're actually gonna change this one to I is gonna be 1, like this. And if we were to click on roll, you can see there's gonna be 7 tables. First one including uncommon, next one basic, 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 another basic, another basic, and the last one another basic. I just didn't get lucky at all. If you clicked another time, so let's open 4, it's gonna be basic. Like, you get the point. It's just gonna get 7 random auras out. Nice. Now that we have that working, we can start with the actual rolling animation. So, how are we gonna do this exactly? First, we're gonna get local tween service, which is gonna be used for smooth animations, which is gonna be game get service tween service. And down here we can actually start. So for let's do I comma chance, sure. In I pairs roll table. Now what is this gonna do? It's gonna loop through every single thing inside the roll table, and if you were to print out the chance, you can see that there's gonna be just 7 tables instantly printed out. And if we were to do this for every single one, it's gonna play an animation 7 times. So, first we're gonna say local oral name, that's gonna be our chance index 1, local aura rarity chance 2, and local aura color, it's gonna be chance 3. Nice. Now we can actually start with the animation. First, we're gonna grab our rolling title, which we can actually shorten this one to just the let's do roll title, sure, not the rolling title. It's gonna be a little shortened. And if you're wondering how I did that, you can press Ctrl Shift and R. Sorry, that was Ctrl Shift E. If you were to press Ctrl Shift R while selecting anything, it's gonna rename every single like variable, or like, I don't know, it's gonna select everything which is named that, just so it's a bit easier. Roll rarity, as it says. There we go. So we can say roll title dot position, that's gonna be udim2 dot from scale, and we're gonna put that up a little bit. Currently we have 0.47, but we're gonna say 0.5 comma point, let's do 3.5, just so it's a bit higher. And that's gonna be probably about it. We're gonna say roll background, that's gonna be actually dot background transparency, that's gonna be 1, just to make sure it's actually transparent. And if we were to say roll title dot, let's do text transparency, that's gonna be 1, roll rarity dot text transparency, that is also gonna be 1. And now for the last thing, we're gonna set the, actually let's put it up here, roll title dot text color, or text color free, doesn't really matter. Actually it doesn't matter, we're gonna need a text color free. That's gonna be our aura color. There we go. Now we can start with the transition. First we're gonna make another variable, which is gonna be our local tween time. We're gonna say about 0.1, and local tween info, that's gonna be a tween info dot new. The time is gonna be our tween time, which we've just named over here. Then comma enum.easingStyle.exponential, and enum.easingDirection, it's gonna be out. Nice. Now if we were to go down here, say tween service colon create, we are gonna grab the rolling background first. We're gonna start with that. The tween info, actually let's rename this to roll info, and this to the roll time. There we go. Roll time and the roll info. Nice. Next up, it's gonna be a scrolly bracket. Sorry, that is the wrong thing. I accidentally changed my font, my language. Yes, I did. There we go. We're gonna set this to the squirrely bracket and one of those. Inside here, we're gonna name the background transparency. It has to be exactly like this one, so you can just copy this. Behind this bracket, you can say it's gonna be equal to 0.85. And then at the very end, you can just say column play. Now what this is gonna do, if we were to hit play, you can see as soon as we click the roll button, it's gonna get darker. And another thing I noticed, you have to put the rolling GUI on ignore GUI instead. Yeah, like this. Back in the rolling handler, we're gonna grab another tween service, create, roll title, roll info, and of course the brackets again. Now we're gonna put the position, which is gonna be equal to udim2 from scale, the current position, which is gonna be 0.5 and 0.47, like this. Then we're gonna put another bracket like this and say let's do text transparency, set that to 1. No, sorry, 0. I had. And hit play again. Next, we're gonna copy this and do roll rarity The position we can completely leave out, and the text transparency auto to 0. Nice. Now you can add a task.wait with the roll time, and you're gonna see why in a second. Yep, that is completely fine. Now that we have that, we should be able to hit play and see what we've got. Okay, that did not work. Let's quickly go into our player GUI, rolling GUI, main frame, rolling background, and to our title. Let's check. Text transparency. That is weird. Why is that happening? Interesting. Also, my bad. All of this we actually know. The rolling background. Yeah, only the rolling background. That has to be in front of this for loop. And so it's gonna be those two variables. We can set them just above the roll table. Next up, we can grab this one and put this below this guy. Nice. Let's do roll time times 2 quickly to check if everything is actually working. Actually no, I've realized why it isn't working. We have to do roll title dot visible is equal to true. My bad. If we were to click roll, you can see that that happens. So we can go back, remove this times 2, and change our info. First we're gonna say roll title dot text. That's gonna be our name. And while we're at it, we can actually cut this guy out, put this right below him, because that is where we are customizing our text. Roll rarity dot text. That's gonna be let's say 1 in space dot dot. Let's do aura rarity. There we go. And that should be it. If you were to click roll, you can see it flashes through everything and ends up with something. Nice. We're gonna make this look better real quick, and then we should be finished with the current episode. So back inside here, we can quickly say task.wait about 1 second right now, or we could actually let's do 2, just so we have a bit more delay. And let's say our roll background is gonna be, actually let's make it a bit smoother while we're at it. We're gonna copy this guy up here where we set the background transparency, and this guy is gonna be equal to 1. Next up, we can say roll title. Actually no, while we're at it, let's say we copy both of those, remove this position, and put text transparency on both to 1. There we go. And if we were to hit play, you can see we click roll, it appears and disappears after 2 seconds. Nice. Now you may be saying that it is a bit fast, and we can completely change that if you want to. Go up here to the roll time, we're gonna put 0.25, And let's test this one out. You can see it's a bit slower now, but it works out fine. Let's increase this actually to 0.45 and say task.wait is roll time divided by 3. And if we were to hit roll, you can see it rolls through and ends up with 1, which is gonna be insanely smooth. Nice. We could also, if you want to, decrease this and say this increases to like divided by 5. Sure. Now click on roll. You can see it rolls way quicker now. Right now you can also just spam it, like that works. It's gonna be a bit buggy because we haven't actually like added a debounce, but while we add it, we can do that quickly. Doesn't take long anyways. Inside the rolling handler, scroll up below the number of rolls. We can say local roll debounce. That's gonna be set to false. Now just below this roll button not activated, we can say if roll debounce is set to true, then return end. And just below there, say roll debounce is set to true. Scroll all the way down, say a little bit task.wait 0.1 and say roll debounce is set to false. This task.wait 0.1, we can actually set this to the roll time. There we go. As you can see, we are not able to spam the button anymore. Yeah, that's about it. There we go. Let's see if I can get something good, and then we're gonna be ending the episode for today. There we go, uncommon. The best one in our list so far. So, thanks for watching, and I'm gonna be seeing you in the next episode.